Well, hey Gundam Maniacs, welcome to another episode of Gundam Explained. For today's episode, we are looking at the real grade God Gundam, just the latest in the real grade line of Gunpla, so it'll be really cool to dive in and see all the intricacies and detail that it has involved. But before we get started, if you haven't, please subscribe and check the links in the description for the Patreon, Discord, cool things like that. And as you're watching the video and it seems pretty cool, give it a like. It helps me out. But yeah, let's get a look at this. All right, so here you have it. Here's the real grade God Gundam panel lined decals. I even put a matte top coat on it. So yeah, this is, I guess, customized all the way in terms of a straight build. I think all the like finishing touches you could really put on it. But no, this thing's really cool. You know, in fact, before this, you know, my first Gunpla was a real grade, and it was the Unicorn, the full armor. And I enjoyed it. I loved it so much. It's like, oh, I have to get more. And so since then, when it comes to real grades, I've built, you know, the RX-78-2, Mark II, Zaku II, New Gundam. That's it. And so, yeah, I'm adding this to the lineup. So, you know, when it comes to just the look of it, I mean, it just, it looks cool. And let me back up just a second. Typically, I'm just into UC stuff. The God Gundam or Shining Gundam, perhaps, from G Gundam. Those are ones that I've kind of always kind of been aware of. I guess when I got into Gundam, those would pop up. They've just kind of been in my mind. So over time, I tend to then like the models more, I guess, or the design more. And then, yeah, just the announcement of a real grade of this, I was like, okay, this is a perfect time to get back into building another real grade. And I'm going to kind of go through some of the cool little gimmicks, the gimmicks it has, I guess, kind of, because really this is just a straight awesome build. You know, looking at the design here, I like the way this looks, you know, kind of the classic Gundam design, but it does the larger shoulders, which I've not been too crazy about. F91 kind of did that, but it had kind of a reasoning that made it work, and it worked right. Sometimes the large shoulders to me just scream comic book or goofy, but sometimes they could work. And then, yeah, the rest of it, again, it actually takes that God Gundam from G Gundam and makes the real grade touches to it. So it does have kind of the grounded, more realism to it. Just in terms of where they have certain decals that you place, the different shades of this lighter armor here really lends to just giving it that kind of real world look. Especially the decals end up putting on the binders back here, which that's another cool element of this design is the sort of fin wing binders that are going on here. So, you know, I haven't gotten to this point in the anime. I'm still watching it right now. So I don't know exactly what these do, but just as a model kit, as it stands for model kit, these just give a lot more variety to the types of poses you'll want to do. It makes this a very dynamic figure because how you can, yeah, move around this back piece here. There's a lot of articulation, or you can just, you know, take it off. That is one thing. It does come off pretty easily. I've kind of gotten over that. But yeah, I like, and this is another thing I like about this. I like this about Crossbone, Victory. I love the core fighter in the chest that then comes out. And then you have yourself a core fighter. And I'm a fan of core fighters. So, you know, like, again, I haven't watched this part of the anime, so I don't know specifically how the posing is supposed to be, but it's just already there's just cool things you can do, you know, with this fighter, giving it like a cool, reminds me of like, you know, 80s or 90s shmups, like on the Sega Genesis in the arcade. Oh, that piece came off. Yeah, this one piece tends to come off often. I could just glue that in and not worry about it. But yeah, even look at the decal options on that backpack binder thingy. I love the decals to put on this. It's just, it's like overdone, but just enough to where this is something you would see on some sort of manufactured system or product or something. Yeah, I just love the look of this. But, you know, back to the mobile suit itself. You know, this isn't one that uses guns either. It just uses beam sabers, and it has two. In fact, they're very katana-like. So that is something very cool. I'll get to the accessories here shortly. And then the arms have this interesting claw function. You know, I don't know, again, I don't know too much about it. This hand is pretty interesting. It reminds me of when I first got into Gundam, I built, I think, something from IBO. I think it was called Astaroth or something. And it's like, it had a hand that looked like it was like a giant, like 3-fingered or 4-fingered hand. And then it had a hand inside. Similar to this. So I can see where there's kind of been the legacy of design that's kind of been passed down. You know, and then as I'm messing around with this figure, you know, I'm just thinking about the articulation. I think it's all, I would say it's all the best you would expect to see in a real grade, even in terms of like a high grade when it comes to just the posability. Because really the difference with the real grade is more of the detail of the pieces, not necessarily articulation. We've seen high grades with excellent articulation. It makes, you know, the arms look a little funky here, real thin, but it still works. Like I said, like, I mean, you can use this thing like an action figure, and it doesn't fall apart. I don't know if it helped that I did that matte top coat on it. But yeah, let's get into accessories. You know, not too much here. We've got the beam saber hilts that you have on there, but also along with that are the blades, which look really cool because, you know, this isn't like the typical UC Gundam look. You know, this is more of a katana, which looks really cool. And then we got a series of hands. So we have, you know, kind of the typical hands for holding things. No trigger fingers though, because there's no gun. But we've got this open hand here. And then we've got, and I didn't really look totally into why. Okay, so we've got 3 gold ones, you know, 2, you got right and left hand, and then you got this right hand that has that other pose, which I think is for like the shining finger, but we see that on the shining Gundam with the green. Again, I'm still working my way through G Gundam. There will be an exclusive podcast up where me and the team kind of go through the show, but I guess that was a little plug in there. But let's take the and as I get the hilt out, another thing I really like is with the stickers. You know what? I probably should have applied that compound or component you put on there that helps soften the decals and sticks on, but I think it's still doing good. For some reason, it doesn't seem too clear, but I love how there's like little decals everywhere, even on the little holder, which works great. I love it when a figure can hold its weapons right on it. But look at this. This is cool. This is like a katana right here. I love the way this looks. All right, and then I can put the katana in the hand here. And there might be another name other than katana. You know, I can get those things wrong. But then look at that. I mean, that is just a sick looking sword for this guy to have. Hopefully that focuses. I love the way it looks. You know, and I don't know if it's clear on here, but for me, just that matte finish just gives it the touch it needs to make this look more than just a model kit, you know. Yeah, very cool. Loving the contrast with that gold hand on there. You know, it's an interesting gold. It's like an orangey gold almost, but it looks really cool. I guess it just adds to this model. You know, it's gimmicks because there's not much to it. You know, there's something else I didn't get to. Let me get to that here. All right, it also comes with this giant thing at the Shining Circle. You know, sorry that I don't know the name of this. I really didn't look it up, and the manual will look at. Maybe it has it in English, but I didn't see. Just another cool feature. I know that this is something in the anime. I kind of like the effect. It was a little weird to put together because it has kind of these little sections that you stick it on, and it could come off easily if you're not careful. But you know, that would look cool in a little display somewhere. I mean, yeah, this is really the full package when it comes to building a Gunpla. All right, let's take a look at the manual here. Pretty cool art on the front here. It almost looks like a Gundam out of UC for a second there. I mean, that's why this thing has a pretty cool design. If it wasn't for the shoulders, I think it could come off as something UC related. But you know, when it comes to the build, I'm not going to focus too much time on each page, but this was a very easy build. Not too much different than building a high grade in terms of just kind of how easy and deliberate the pieces are made out to be to connect it. And here's some poses, some of the pictures with the decals and everything. Get an idea. Another page, you're showing some more of the that flight pack unit thing and the accessories. And then here is showing the Gundam with that circle. Shining circle on its back. I'm gonna just say that's the name until I figure out what it is. Yeah, and get an idea of poses, and then yeah, putting that whole thing together. Halo effects. So halo, huh? Okay. And then, yeah, some more poses here showing the articulation. And then, of course, this whole mess, the decals. But to be honest, as crazy as it looks, this was a lot quicker than I thought. I think the hardest part was here, these really small ones. Two of them just went flying. I couldn't find them. And then I ended up finding them on the back here on the manual, and they were together, like next to each other. It was really weird. It worked out, I guess. So no casualties when it comes to any of the decals or stickers. So anyway, there you have it. There is the real grade God Gundam. Just another great looking real grade, and it was actually a fun build. This totally seems, worth it. This is just a good quality Gunpla to get. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. Have you built this? Something you're interested in? Do you even like G Gundam enough to get the model kits, or is it vice versa where you just care about the model kits? It doesn't really matter what timeline they're from. But anyway, let me know in the comments below. Yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll talk later.